Hi everyone, welcome to the first Phenomenal podcast. I'm your host, Chris Murray, and as you can probably tell by the name of the podcast, I am the owner and founder of the Phenomenal Group, which is a social media marketing, advertising, and branding agency based in the penthouse of Newton's of Bury on the Rock. Normally, I'd be based from there, and normally that's where I would look at basically getting my content out to you from. But with the current coronavirus pandemic that's going on at the moment, that's obviously not possible. So I'm doing it from the comfort of my kitchen. So I've been putting off this podcast for a while, and I've been basically trying to think about what I could talk about and how it could be useful to people, whether I use it as something to talk about business, talk about football, cricket, hobbies, etc., different things along those lines, or different things that are going on in the world. But I just thought I'd start on it now because I've got the opportunity to. And the reason why I say I've got the opportunity to is because I've looked at the coronavirus pandemic as being a way to sort of reassess my business and to reassess my brand and to look at how I can improve things going forward and what I can do in order to get the name of the business out there a bit more. So obviously I've been, this is now either week 5 or week 6 of basically being locked down and working from home. I've lost track of time. It feels like only yesterday that I was in my office working from there, basically having meetings with clients, but unfortunately now that's not the case. So been working from home, found it a little bit difficult. Reason being, obviously, that I'm used to working in the office. I'm used to having my own space. Used to obviously my desk and my chair and nipping down to go and get a brew and everything. And then you find that when you're working from home, obviously the whole dynamic changes. So, for instance, I've been conducting Zoom meetings from at one point a 6-year-old's bed because a 2-year-old is asleep, and you can't obviously have a meeting where you might be waking up a 2-year-old, or you might be interrupting a 6-year-old from doing his schoolwork. So yeah, it's been a bit of an eye-opener, and you find that your days are a little bit more disjointed and you want your office back, but obviously you understand that there's more pressing matters going on at the moment with regards to the way the world is. But let's crack on. So, as I said, we are a social media marketing, advertising, and branding agency that's based out of Bury. Now, a little bit about obviously the business, just to obviously kick off. So, I started this business in February 2019. So, I'd just left a job and I decided that, right, time's now. I'm going to become an entrepreneur, work for myself, and I'm going to grow myself a brand. And the concept behind it was, right, okay, let's basically look at offering businesses the opportunity to grow their business and to try and help them with their social media presence. Okay, so I built a business from the ground up. Obviously now it's been going for just over a year, 14 months, and it's one of those things where, for 12 months before it started, I did a lot of planning as to what I wanted the name to be of the business, how I wanted it to look, how I wanted it to feel, what I'd offer people, how I could be of benefit to them, what the unique selling point was, all those different things. And what I found over the last 12 months is it actually, all that planning that I've put into it, that will then change at some point, and you have to move with those times. So, like for instance, now I'm sat at home working on a Tuesday night, basically looking at putting content out for clients and what sort of content I should be putting out for them, even though I can't physically visit them, I can't go and speak with them face to face. I've got to do everything via obviously WhatsApp, calls, emails, etc. And you've got to look at it and go, right, got to be flexible with what I do. So laptop, mobile, headphones, sorted, all good. And over periods of time, whilst I've been growing the brand, we've worked with a large number of clients over that period, and each one of them is obviously different. Each one of them provides a different service. They have a different unique selling point. They have a different feel about them. Some of them obviously want to just be themselves. They just want to be that one person, but they're not quite up to speed with how they want to do their social media, or they don't feel comfortable with it, so they come and speak to me. Or they might be a company that is in the transitional period of wanting to go from being only a few employees through to actually growing their brand and needing somebody to manage their social media, or their actual traditional marketing whilst they're in that process of hiring somebody. So it's been really good, and it's been really interesting, and worked with a lot of different sectors. And what I found is over these last 14 months is that you have to be able to adapt in order to grow your brand. And now, with everything that is going on in the world, primarily because of the coronavirus pandemic, it is an opportunity for all business owners to grow what they want their brand to be, and they can take that time to look at shifting it into a different direction. So with me starting this podcast, I'm looking at doing something that gets me out to a different audience. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go out and do it. What it means is that basically I've looked at something that I want to do, that I think can help accentuate my brand. Now, you might be somebody who only uses Facebook for your business. So you might only use that. That might be the only platform you use. But that's because you've not had the time to do it previously, because you've been busy, because you've had to go out and about to see clients, or you might run a business that requires you to be more hands-on in the business rather than focusing on stuff and working on the business. Okay, so now is that perfect opportunity for people to look at how their business is performing, both pre the coronavirus and during the coronavirus pandemic. And one of the things that I always talk about with clients is looking at to go, right, your business is an extension of you. It's how you want it to be seen. So if you're happy with just being on Facebook, then you're happy with just being on Facebook. If you are only using Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn, you only use one of those because you don't have the time to do it, then that's not a problem. But now it is the perfect opportunity to develop your business and to look to grow the brand more, so that people understand a bit more about what you do, and you can try and tap into new audiences. At the moment, there has never been a greater time for you to put content out to reach your audience and further afield. There's never been a greater time. You think about it, okay? With the exception of your frontline key workers here in the UK, everybody else should be at home all the time, okay? With the exception of them nipping out for something that is essential, okay? So what do they do while they're at home? Well, they sit on the phone, they sit on the tablet, they're on the laptop, they're working, and people are distracted. So that's your opportunity to use social media to grow your brand and to, try and target new people. That not necessarily saying to you that you have to go out and go, right, okay, I'm going to go on Facebook, I'm going to go on LinkedIn, I'm going to go on Twitter, I'm going to go on Instagram, I'm going to go on TikTok, I'm going to go on YouTube. Not saying you have to go whole hog and have to go, right, I'm going to go on everything. What I am saying to you is take the time to look at what platforms might work better for you and look at how you can grow your brand. So as I said earlier, you might only be on one platform because you've not had the time to be able to work on other platforms, and you might not have that budget available to hire somebody like me, or to hire somebody in-house to be a social media marketer for you. Now you've got the opportunity to go, actually, you know what, I'm going to sit there and look at what makes Twitter work. How can I get the best out of my brand in 280 characters? What apps, what platforms work well with regards to scheduling content, because now I'm going to double my content because I'm no longer just on Facebook, I'm also on Twitter as well. Or looking at it and going, actually, you know what? I've got enough pictures of products that I sell or services that I offer or interactions with clients that I've got on my phone, whether it's video or obviously through pictures, that right, I might take my brand over onto Instagram and look at how that works for me. So there's many, many things that you can do. And you can look at that and go, right, I want to do this because it'll grow my brand. I know it won't work straight away. I know I'm not just going to sign up to an Instagram account and it's going to work straight off. Okay. One thing I always advise clients when we speak to them is, look, social media and marketing in general is a long-term solution. It's not a short-term fix. Okay. So you can look at it and say, well, these people are having success on social media. I should be getting it. But they've put a plan in place and they've followed through with that plan. Sure, along the road, that's obviously changed, and they've had to make those changes to that plan in order for it to grow. But they've stuck to it and they've worked to see how their brand sounds and how their brand looks, so that they can grow it. Okay. So that's one of the things that I would always say to you with regards to social media is basically, now that you've got a bit of extra time, look at how you can grow that brand. Okay. So I did a video series, well, the first 4 episodes of a video series that's on our Facebook page, our Instagram page, you know, that's on LinkedIn and Twitter and everything. And it was all about looking at how you can start to assess your social media platforms and how you can grow your brand during the coronavirus. And so obviously the first thing that I advised is to audit your social media platforms. So that's one of those things where you look at how your content is, you know, is everything correct with your contact details? Is your about section right? Does it say everything that you want your brand to say? And then take the time to look at your competitors and look at what they're doing and see if they are doing something that's different to you. And I'm not saying go out and copy what they do, because it drives me mad. It drives me mad even when I put a piece of content out and somebody who probably hasn't even looked at my content writes something, you know, within 24 hours that is, you know, on the same topic. But unfortunately, when you work in the same industry as somebody, that happens. So that's nothing to worry about. But look at your competition, see what they're doing, see how they're performing, and then off the back of that, you can set yourself some goals as to how you want your brand to grow over an extended period of time. And so that's the first thing that I would always tell you to do, is do an audit of your social media platforms. And then if you're feeling adventurous and you want to add an additional platform, okay, so for instance, you might be not on Instagram but you've always wanted to be and you've not been too sure about how to do it, then create an Instagram account. Okay, you don't have to go onto it straight away. You don't have to put any content out there, but look at what your competition are doing on that platform that you want to be on, and it can give you a steer as to which way you go and whether you want to go on that platform or whether you see it as being useful to helping you grow your platforms. So that's obviously the first thing that I'd always advise. Then it's a case of looking at, right, okay, you've got that time on your hands now because you have decided that, you know, you're going to look at another platform, but also you're looking at your social media as well and how you want your brand to be perceived when this coronavirus pandemic is over. And the next thing that I would always advise you to do is look at your content and your scheduling of your content. Okay, so points 2 and 3, and they go hand in hand with each other. So you may think that I've not got any content that I can put out because I am not in my office, I am not in my shop premises, I'm not physically serving customers face to face. No, you've got that opportunity. You can put that content out there for people, and that's no problem whatsoever. You can do that. Okay. There's loads of different things that you can do. You can rehash old content that you've put out. You can make it maybe a little bit better than what it was previously, or you can just reword it slightly. You can look at all projects that you've done for people. You can remind people that you're still there. The aim of it is that you need to be relevant, and you need to stick in your audience's mind, and you need to make sure that they understand where you're coming from, and that you're still going to be there when this is over. Okay, so there's loads of different ways that you can put content out, even if that's just branding up something that's a review of your services from somebody previously before this happened, and reminding people of how good you are. That's one of the things that I would always advise. Looking at running polls on different parts of your business. So if you think that one of your customers would like to give you an opinion on one service that you offer compared to another, ask people to vote on which service they prefer from you. Or if you're looking at who works on your team, you might have furloughed people, or you might have people working from home. Well, ask them some questions about themselves and talk about them. So it's not just talking about you, it's talking about them as well. Okay, and you're still making them feel like they're part of your business, even though they're working from home, or they're working from or they're obviously furloughed. So it's just one of those things to look at, going, right, I'm gonna put all this content out. Write down what your content is going to be. You don't have to write out what you're going to write word for word, but just write yourself out some ideas. Okay, when you've then done that, look at how your brand not look at how your brand can grow, but look at what content you can schedule for your brand. So you've done that, and then you want to go, right, okay, I've got all this content to put out. I'm going to put it out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, etc. You're going to put it out over specific days. Okay, when you've put that content together and you know what you're going to go with, and then you're going to look at obviously structuring it, and you're going to look at when you want to put it out, so a specific period of time. Now, you might be busy with other things at this point, so what you need to do is you need to then look at what platforms you can use to schedule your content. So obviously I use Hootsuite, which is brilliant, because it allows me basically to put content out to different platforms for all my clients, and obviously I pay for that, but you can still get the free option out of it, where you can basically, I think it's free platforms for absolutely zero. Okay, and you can put out content to those platforms, and it saves you that hassle. So what I would generally tend to do for just one client is I look at it and go, right, okay, so I know that for the next 2 weeks I'm plotting this content. Okay, I know that I'm plotting Testimonial Tuesday, Feedback Friday, different bits in between, and I know what I've got to put out there. So what I do is I get all that together, and even if that takes me an hour or 2 hours, I will put that all out there on one specific day, and I will schedule it all. All right. Now, you're doing it for your business. Okay. So you taking an hour or 2 hours to do that is only benefiting your business, but it also frees up your time for something else further on down the line. So it's a fantastic way of looking at it, and you'd be surprised how many business owners I speak to where I say, right, what we're doing about your scheduling of your content, how do you schedule your content? And they'll go, oh no, I just make it up as and when, I do it ad hoc. That's fine, that's not a problem at all, but it's just one of those things that can be a bit frustrating for you as a business owner, because you might forget to post it, or it might save in your drafts instead of posting it, or you might be not available at that time when you were going to post something that works for your business. So always look into the side of scheduling your content and setting yourself some time to be able to do that, because it will only benefit you in the long run. And then the other one was, obviously, I talked about how often you should post, and you don't want to be spamming people with how much content you put out. Okay, if for instance you're running an event, now I did this for a client a couple of months ago, where they were running a business expo. Okay, and they had over 100 businesses sign up to exhibit and over 400 delegates turn up. And I had a 2-month window to get all the exhibitors have content about them over that period of time, as well as you've got your sponsors, as well as additional info with regards to the event itself. So yes, there was a lot of content went out. Some points there was 6 or 7 posts per day that were going out on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, and on Instagram. Okay, so yeah, it's a lot of content. It's a lot of scheduling, and it could be seen as spammy, but it's about an event. So with it being about an event, that's fine. Okay, because you're not always going to get seen with them as much as possible. But as an actual business owner, as somebody who sells a service or a product or deals with people face to face, you don't want to be throwing out content like every hour on the hour or every 2 hours, etc. You need to look at what works for your business. You may not at this moment in time have enough content, especially if you're starting out as a new business. You may not yet have enough content for you to put out. So set yourself that goal of going, right, okay, I want to put out content on this many days per week. Okay, starting off with it just being once per day, all right, or not once per day, but aiming for once a day, 3 times a week, okay, or once every day, Monday to Friday, unless your business is obviously Saturday, Sunday, and look at it to see, right, okay, over that period of time, have I got more stuff that I can talk about? And once you get into it, you'll ease into it and start to obviously see results from it. So those are the things I talked about in the video series that we did over like the last couple of weeks. I'm going to be doing something similar again, where I'm going to look at obviously more videos to put out, and obviously look at how you can grow your brand and how you can benefit from social media and traditional marketing. Because let's not forget, while this is all going on, okay, you're still going to have people that you need to speak to once this is over, and you still need to bring on clients, you still need to pay the bills, etc. So marketing your business during this this pandemic is not a bad thing. Okay, I've spoke to a few businesses where they've said, well, we just sort of want to hold off. We feel like it's something where people don't understand what we're trying to do, or why we're pushing our services out at this moment in time, because they physically can't come see us. They can't order anything from us. That's fine. They can't order anything from you, but you can still promote yourself. You need to make sure that you're ahead of your competition. You need to make sure that you're still relevant to people. So one of the things that I would say is don't rule out organizing yourself a traditional marketing campaign. So you've got the opportunity to look at it and go, well, people who are graphic designers and printers and web developers, they'll still be working. They'll still be doing things that will be able to help your business. They'll still be able to help you grow, and they'll be ready and waiting for you to say, right, okay, I want 1,000 leaflets done, double-sided, so that I can target potential clients when this is over. So don't think that because obviously this is all going on, that you should stop looking at ways to market your business. To me, I would always look at going, at the moment, because of how content is being consumed, going down the social media route, and going from there. And in the background, looking at it and going, right, okay, so what do I want my brand to sound like through traditional marketing? Do I want to look at running a print campaign? Do I want to find out how much it will cost to have a billboard, okay, or to advertise in a bus station, something along those lines? Because it's not just you that will be affected by the coronavirus, okay? Everybody will be affected by it. And you've got to look at it and go, right, how can I promote my brand and come out of this, not as a case of surviving, but thriving off the situation, okay? So those are just obviously a few things that, whilst I'm thinking about it tonight, whilst I'm doing this podcast, that I think business owners still also need to think about, and that they need to do in order to grow their brand whilst this is all ongoing. I mean, let's be honest, we've all sat there and thought about it, going, oh well, how do I get through this? But you need to just be positive with it. You need to look at it and go, you know what, this isn't going to get the better of me. Like I say, we're 5 or 6 weeks in now with how it's been, and what we can obviously learn from it is that people are still advertising, people are still marketing the brand. Obviously, a few companies had a couple of weeks off because they work for themselves. They wanted to assess the situation as to how this all affects them going forward. Well, now is that opportunity to look at it and go, actually, you know what? I'm going to be better than everybody here. I'm going to be better than everybody with what I do. I'm going to promote myself. I'm going to talk about how good I am. And I'm going to get on, obviously, people's minds, because it's those businesses that are seen that will benefit from this in the long run. So that's obviously where I'm at with regards to the coronavirus at the minute, and obviously everything that's going on. It's frustrating. You sit there at home and like I said earlier, people get distracted. They might not feel like wearing jeans and a polo shirt is something that they need to do. They might feel like it's a case of that they're staying at home. It's a shorts and t-shirt kind of day, and not feel as motivated for getting something done. But it's about shaking off that mindset, really, and just deciding, right, okay, I'm going to absolutely smash this so that I can come out of this better than what I was before. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's going to be difficult for some businesses, but the majority of it will come out better. So it's just obviously as well about looking at that mindset that you have and trying to make sure that if you're working from home, you're doing it so that it benefits you rather than it just being seen as a chore. Okay, so obviously that's the first episode all sorted for you. Hope you like what you've heard. Obviously, if you do listen to it, then obviously I'd appreciate your feedback. Once again, I'm Chris Murray. This has been the first episode of the Phenomenal Podcast.